I'm Johnny Ray, and this is 5R Recovery. I like to talk about different things that are going on in the recovery world. New ideas, new programs. I encourage all different types of things, whatever it takes for you to get clean, that's what really matters. So I'm very curious. Maybe people can give me some information on this. Seattle is notorious for bringing in ideas that are a little abstract, sometimes a little unique, and sometimes feel like they're just shooting for the moon. Like they don't necessarily have a lot of medical research behind it. They have these crazy notions that this might work or we should try this. And the newest one is the booty bumping kit. Something that just happened February 22nd. See, I like to read a lot of articles. I like to read articles, especially in my county. I'm from Washington, the state of Washington. I live in Snohomish County. But because King County is so close to Snohomish County, a lot of the stuff that happens in King County, affects Everett, Linwood, so on and so forth. Booty bumping kits. Just the name caught me, right? So I'm reading this article, and it's talking about how King County is providing information on how to anally induce drugs, and not just give you information on how to do it and what it will do when you do it. They will offer you the kit to do it, and it's called a booty bumping kit. Now, of course, when you first hear about that, you think to yourself, there's no way that's real. How on earth is that possible? How is that, honestly? We live in a very complicated world now. We live in a very big world filled with ideas and imaginations and things that people, they want to help, but they don't know how. It's gotten to the point that the more unique or the more abstract your idea is, even though it's hard to fathom, it seems like certain states take that under their wing and promote that and give that out and let people experience it. So when I read about the booty bumping kits, and I read about that they're literally going to tell you how to take drugs anally, how they're going to provide the equipment and the kit for it. And not only that, they're going to allow you to get heroin smoking pipes at a certain location in downtown Seattle. Not sure how I feel about it. The first thing that comes to my mind is why. Why is this the idea? Because what you're doing is you're really just, it seems to me, this is just my opinion. I have my opinion as you do yours. Seems to me like there's not a lot of research or science behind it supporting the idea that this would be good for your body. As I read into the article a little bit more, I found out that their really big concern is with needle usage. The transfer of needles, blood pathogen diseases, those kinds of things. I get it. They want you to eliminate track marks by doing it. As drug addicts, we know what track marks are, right? But they want to try to get you away from the needle. So they're coming up with ideas to get you away from that. Here's the thing I have trouble understanding is if you're trying to get them away from the needle, why do you have the needle exchange? Right? You can't, in my opinion, you can't have the needle exchange and the booty bumping kits, right? Even though I don't necessarily agree with either, I know what they're trying to do, and I think that their heads are focused on the idea of trying to help, which is a good thing, but I think it's very blurred. I think that we need to be more firm with what we're doing in these drug situations, not less. I think we need to start getting the individual to conform to society rather than society conforming to the individual. I think if you really want to help people, you need to address three things. You need to address their mental health, you need to address their homelessness, and most important, you need to address their addiction. A booty bumping kit seems to me so bizarre. It just seems odd to me that you can go to a place in downtown Seattle, and when I'm telling my friends and my colleagues and my coworkers and all the people in my circle and in my life about these kits, it blows my mind because I'm literally picturing images in my brain that I don't necessarily want to picture. Because I'm trying to think of these people, of people going out there in alleys, on the streets, in tents, and injecting themselves anally with drugs to get themselves high. Longer lasting highs, they say. Here's the problem I have, okay? In this article and in these paper documents and in these flyers that are posted that say this, there's like smiley face emojis next to it. It's very odd. When did drug usage become an okay thing? When did we start trying to figure out ways to help people learn how to use drugs properly? Drugs destroy everything. They destroy everything. I can't think of another greater thing that can affect communities and businesses and families and friends than somebody with serious drug use. Drugs to me break up everything as far as moral values. I spoke about this the other day. Drugs bring us down to our most basic animal instinct. It brings us back to survival, meaning we're willing to do anything to get the drugs and we're willing to do anything to survive. When you're out there surviving, say you're an animal, right? And they find a food source. They're going to go back to that food source. You know, you leave a picnic basket out or something, or your garbage can's out. A bear comes in, he eats the food out of the garbage, he leaves. He's going to come back to that garbage can because he knows it's a source of food. I envision drug addicts like that. I think if we have something that is guaranteed to get us what we want, which is usually more drugs or a place to sleep or a roof over our head or food or water or whatever it is, whatever's easy is what we will go back to as creatures, as human beings. So by providing this stuff, these needle exchanges, this booty bumping kit, these free paraphernalia to smoke your drugs, what gives a person any incentive to ever get off the streets? They have everything they want. I don't want to talk ill will about anybody's programs, and I don't. And 5-Hour Recovery embraces and supports and learns and understands all the other programs. Whether I disagree with it or agree with it, the intention is what's important. Would I do that through 5-Hour Recovery? No, not at all. I think enabling is very dangerous. And I think if you provide people with the resources while they're out there using as compared to the resources when they're in recovery is extremely dangerous because it keeps them out there. There's a lot of money being dumped into King County to try to help this homeless an addiction problem. And when we as taxpayers pay for these ideas, it really blows my mind. Do they know about it? Do you know as a taxpayer that that's what your tax dollars are going to? And would you be okay with it? I kind of feel like a lot of it's swept under the rug. You know, they don't give everybody the information that's available. They don't say, hey, look, did you know that when you pay taxes, you're paying for people to get booty bumping kits? Because I think the majority of taxpayers would be like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And they're like, well, we've tried everything. We really just want them to stop using needles. The intention, I get it. Do I agree with it? No. I think it's terrible. I think that as we can continue to condone behavior and enable addicts right here in our area to continue to be high and not once that animal instincts gets brought down to its survivalness, to that bare minimum, to that low end, it's so hard for them to gain that normalcy back. So somewhere in between animal instincts and that normalcy, you're feeding them things that bring them this way. It's really a spectrum, right? Basic animal instinct, survival behavior, functioning, worker, family-oriented, loving, compassionate human being. There's two sides, right? Where does your program fit in this spectrum? And you're going to encounter people all along this level, right? You're going to have people that are literally out of their minds, crazy and desperate and dangerous. And you're going to have people that are somewhat dangerous and slightly dangerous and not so dangerous. And they just have a little bit of a problem. And so there's your spectrum right there. What does your program do? Does your program take them this way or this way? And we should all be aiming for this, right? We should all be aiming for productive members of society. People who go out and help the world and benefit the world just by being in it, just by being alive. That's what it is. It's waking up every morning and being thankful, being blessed, and going out and helping others. See, we should love on people. And that's to me what this is. This is dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. Now, this isn't coming from somebody who's on the outside looking in. I've been here. That's why I talk like this. It's because I've been here. And you would have never got me anywhere with this. I had to make a decision when I was here. My brain had to compute. and get me more towards this. I had to do programs and fellowships and different things and friendships and circles and psychiatry and whatever and whatever and whatever, and to get me back to where I'm in here, to where I am a productive member of society. So does my program enhance a person? Does it help a person? I don't feel like booty bumping kids do. I feel like they're dangerous. I feel like if a person's coming out of their shell, now they can have a source where they can do whatever they want, where they can have access to things that continue them to be high. What else? Why would you want to change? People have lost the idea and the thought of being able to be a normal person in society. They don't have it anymore. We've got to rebuild that. We've got to make them, what do you want to do with your life? That's where 5-hour recovery is important. What do you want to do? Do you want to have a normal life? Do you want to wake up and, I mean, as drug addicts in early phases, man, we're using drugs. It's getting us high. We're getting loaded. We're partying. We're doing all this stuff. I don't know about you, but about 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, I'm out of my mind. It's no longer fun anymore. It's stress and drama and violence and danger, suicide thoughts, no family, no friends. You're nothing. Every time I started over, I was always here. I'd gain a little bit back, I'd set back, and I'd gain a little bit back, and I'd set back. And I think it's important as people who work with others in recovery that we try to get them to that, whatever that looks like. So do I think that that program is a good idea? No, I don't. I think it's extremely dangerous. I think it's dangerous when we continue to work for drug addicts to be able to use drugs more easily. It's more accepted. It's more understood. It's like, well, we got to attack this problem, so let's make it easier for them to do this. Well, you can get high here, but you can't get high here. Designating places where they can go get loaded. Who lives in those places? What about families and kids and people who live in those places? Are they segregated cases? And where's the science? I thought we lived our lives based on research, based on medical trials, based on, I mean, we have no idea what the outstanding lasting effect is by injecting things anally. We have no idea if this could cause cancer later, or this could affect the way you use the restroom. We don't have any idea. It was like somebody was just like, well, let's try it. We're not guinea pigs, people. We're not guinea pigs. Every day, things are coming out that are extremely difficult and more intense with drug usage. When you talk about bath salts, I mean, when you talk about fentanyl, when you talk about all these different things that keep coming out and making it more crazy and harder for us to deal with, you can't just throw solutions at it that make it so it's out of sight, out of mind. Let's make sure that they're comfortable doing it. Let's make sure they're doing it over here. That doesn't make any sense. We need to figure out how to get them off of that. We need to make sure that they know that there's a place for them in this world and that their purpose for living is to be alive. Real basic. Just be alive. Just help people. Love people. Do everything you can to be a kind-hearted soul. Do everything you can to support what you support, your family and your friends. You know, we've lost touch with each other, people. And I know I've rambled on for way longer than I wanted this video to be. We're losing touch with one another. We're too focused on electronics and technology and answers that are easily provided for us. There's no conversations anymore. There's no discussions. There's no figuring things out. We ask a phone and it answers the question for us. We have all of these different voices, Google and Alexa and everybody who answers these questions for us. We don't read books. We don't go to libraries as much. We don't ask our elders. We don't take suggestions. We think we know everything. We need to get back to being caring and compassionate people. I think that will win. I think that is what will help people. I spoke about this also the other day. Some are going to die. Some are going to die. This is coming from somebody who goes out every day and tries to help people. There's nothing worse than losing somebody that you tried to help. I've seen it. I've been around it. It's hard. But I'm just now getting to be understanding that ultimately this is God. It's God's decision. It's God's choice. It's God that controls. It's not us. I don't take weight on my shoulders as much as I did in my early recovery, my early 5-hour recovery journey. I leave it up to God because I'm not God. I don't have his strength. I don't have his will. I don't have his love and compassion. I will help people as much as possible, but people will die. And it's sad and it's dark and it's raw. And the more stories that you're around and the more difficulty, when you say booty bumping kid, is really hard to fathom unless you've been out there. And then it doesn't seem so weird. Turkey basting does not seem so weird. I'll do an episode on turkey basting maybe next time. We'll talk a little bit about it. Anyway, I'm Johnny Ray. It's 5-hour recovery. I felt compelled to do a video. I know this was way longer than I wanted it to be. I just don't know what's going on. I don't know where the research is. So I guess we'll see what happens. People, I want you to stay safe. I want you to get help. I want you to figure things out. And if 5R can help you, I would love to help you. You know, you can find me on all sorts of social media. I don't do as many videos as I used to. But I'd love to hear your input on this particular subject. I love the feedback. Comment below. Send me an email, foraddictsfromaddicts@gmail.com. Let's talk about it. I'd love to have you on. I'd love to do a video with you and discuss what your feelings are in this matter. I'd like to do more videos where I do discuss current events and the things that are happening locally. You know, 5-hour recovery will eventually, go to different states, but right now Washington State is my focus, and that's what we're trying to do. So I'm Johnny Ray. It's 5-hour recovery, and thank you for listening.